Welcome, everybody. The 2023 NFL Draft is over, but it's never too early to look ahead to the 2024 NFL Draft. I'm Joe with the Game House, and today we're going to be taking a look at the NFL Draft prospect watch list for wide receivers. All right, so as mentioned, the wide receivers are up in our 2024 NFL Draft prospect watch list series here. So we're going to start with some guys I think are pretty good. But keep in mind, these are not rankings. If I ranked them, I think Marvin Harrison would probably be number one for a lot of people. But it's just a little bit too early. We still have a full season to go. And with injuries and just poor play or good play, things can change. So these are just a list of guys to kind of keep track of for the 2023 college football season as we head into the 2024 NFL draft cycle. So let's get it started with Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Ohio State has had plenty of these guys on these lists for the last couple of years at the wide receiver position. He's limited his first year on campus, but second year he caught 74 passes for 1,151 yards, 10 touchdowns, helped Ohio State go to the college football playoff. I think he was solid to be the right way to put it. With this, there's obviously someone else who took a lot of the headlines there, but really solid. I think he can solid size. He can play on the outside at the NFL level, polished releases at the line of scrimmage, and experienced as a returner. I'd love to see him give more effort as a blocker and eliminate focus drops to enhance his draft stock, but I think he could do that this year. He's a very highly touted recruit. He has played very well, and I think he could be one of the top receivers in this draft class. His teammate, Marvin Harrison Jr. of Ohio State, he might be the best draft prospect we've seen at the position since Jamar Chase, maybe even before that, honestly. He's that talented with a lot of measurables to like. He played a limited amount as a freshman. Like Egbuka, he really came on last season, finished with 77 catches for 1,263 yards, 14 touchdowns. Was having a really solid game against Georgia in the college football playoff before being knocked out with a concussion. A lot of Ohio State fans will say, kind of be wondering what if, and Georgia fans will be saying they had it the whole way. That's just how it goes. But his NFL bloodlines help. He's also much bigger than his dad. He's got 6'4". He's a good route runner, and he's got the ability to run after catch, create big plays. He can win jump balls. I think there aren't many weaknesses in his game, but I think he can focus on handling physical coverage better, fighting through contact better, and also improving on his focus drops. And that's an issue for a lot of people, just to limit the drops as they go to the NFL level. Johnny Wilson, one of the bigger receivers in this draft class, and probably any draft class, honestly, played really well for Florida State after transferring in from Arizona State. For FSU last year, 43 catches, 897 yards, 5 touchdowns, red zone threat. You know that helped him win 10 games. The first thing you'll notice is that size, 6'7", 235 pounds. There may be some who want to move him to tight end, but he could struggle to separate from NFL corners. But he can be a good receiver, showing the ability to be a deep threat, a red zone mismatch. You can, if you want to turn him into a tight end, I understand. If you want to keep him at wide receiver, I also understand that because he can just bully some smaller corners, just win some jump balls. So he's one of the guys I think is like the most interesting to watch this year. I would love to see him have another really good year like he did this past year, maybe grow and get a 1,000-yard season. But those measurables are hard to pass up. He needs to test well. The bigger receivers, we always know they need to test well. Run a 40 that's not too slow, and you can be pretty good. Xavier Worthy of the Texas Longhorns. So he was projected to have a pretty good season last year, and he did end up with some injuries, injuries at the quarterback position, which kind of limited him. But he had 62 catches for 981 yards, 12 touchdowns as a freshman. Worthy followed that up with 60 catches, 760 yards, 9 touchdowns in 2022. He took the Longhorns from 5 wins to 8 wins with the help of Quinn Ewers. He has the height to play outside, but he needs to add strength. Only 165 pounds is what he's listed at. I'm sure he's bigger by now, but I think he can still struggle with blocking and shedding physical coverage, honestly. He's good field and ball skills, and he also has return experience. I think he could be a game changer this year for Texas. Excited to see what he can do for the Longhorns as they try to improve each year Steve Sarkisian's been there. Jacob Cowing of Arizona. He's a guy who started at UTEP, been very productive there, went to Arizona, was productive again. I think he's going to be more of a possession receiver, but I think he'd be very good as well. Troy Franklin out of Oregon. He'll need to add play strength, but he has the ability to be a good outside receiver. 9 touchdown passes last year. He'll be catching passes from Bo Nix in the Oregon offense this year. I think he can have a pretty good season and boost his stock a little bit. I'm not sure he can get up to the level of some of these guys who have, that were more featured in this article that I did. But I think he could be a solid receiver as well. Zachary Franklin, transferred from UTSA, and I think he's going to Ole Miss now. I think that's confirmed. So he's going to be part of that offense that has how many transfer quarterbacks did they get this offseason? But works with Lane Kiffin now. I think staying at UTSA would have been pretty cool because they do have a pretty cool offense, and Frank Wilson's back. But transferring to Ole Miss, getting to show yourself against the SEC competition, everyone will be watching to see how he does. Romo Dunze, the Washington Huskies wide receiver, pretty good highlight reel catches, acrobatic catches I've seen on tape from him. I think he'd be a good outside receiver. He really blew up this year. He showed flashes as a freshman, but really blew up this year with Michael Penix Jr. This past season with Michael Penix Jr. stepping in. So I think just more of the same could be really good for him this year. If he has more acrobatic catches, shows he can make some tough catches in tight windows, I think that could be really good. So Anaya Smith from Texas A&M, former running back, moved to receiver, going to be more of a slot. Good quickness, and he's got the skills that carried over from running back, so he's got the good run after the catch. So something to keep note of there, but a really good fast slot receiver. We saw this past year there were so many slot receivers in the draft, it made your head spin, but he's one of the guys I think could be a true slot in next year's class, which does have more outside receiver potential. So that could make him maybe help his value that he didn't come out last year. Not that he was able to, no, he was able to, but not that he was going to. But I think that could be a good fit because there's not as many slot receivers right now because a lot of them came out last year. All right, let me know what you think of the receivers in this draft class down below. Let me know if there's anyone I missed or anyone else who should be added to the list. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see everyone next time.